Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name's Mel. Thank you so much for joining me today for the Finally Fall book tag. Yes, I know, a lot of you are going to think that I am doing this in the entirely wrong season. But see, the thing is that I live in Australia and so I'm doing it in the correct season. I've seen a bunch of people do this video a bunch of different times. Some people do it regularly, always in their fall, which is August, September, October, no, September, October, November, but that is my spring, whereas this is my fall, March, April, May. So yeah, I thought that I would do the Finally Fall book tag in my fall, or autumn, as we say here in Australia. I don't actually know who created this tag, so I will figure that out and put their original, if I can find it, or their channel in the description below so that you can go and check out the original, subscribe to their channel, all of that. Anyone else who I happen to mention in this video will also be linked in the description so you can go and check them out as well. Alright, so let's get started. The first question says, in fall, the air is crisp and clear. Name a book with a vivid setting. So for this one, I am actually going to go for a bit of an old school one, and I'm going to go with The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. I reread this series recently with Bethany from Beautifully Bookish Bethany, Cara from The Wild Book Garden, and a few other people, and it was an entirely fun experience, and I really enjoyed my reread of the books. It had been a number of years since I read the books, and a lot of my memories of The Lord of the Rings had been altered by the movies, so I was really happy to reread them and remind myself of how vividly Tolkien created and described the Middle-earth and what was going on. So yeah, he really described his world. He did so much incredible world building. You really feel like you are in fact in Middle-earth, and you really get a sense of not just geographical world around you in Middle-earth, but a real sense of the history of the place, because he put so much backstory not just in the actual text of The Lord of the Rings but in his creation of the world. He made languages, he made the Elven language, he made Dwarfish, and it's just so rich and so immersive and so layered, and that makes it so vivid and just beautiful. So yeah, the answer to that question is Lord of the Rings. Question number 2 says, nature is beautiful but also dying. Name a book that is beautifully written but also deals with a heavy topic like loss or grief. So for this one, I'm actually going to go with the Strange the Dreamer duology, so Strange the Dreamer and Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. I just recently finished Muse of Nightmares, so it's probably in my brain, but this writing style is beautiful, lyrical, whimsical, fantastical, just amazingly descriptive and beautiful prose. And when people talk about this series, they talk about that, and they talk about how Strange the Dreamer is such a lovely, Laszlo Strange is such a lovely character, a cinnamon roll, if you will, but there's actually a lot of really dark stuff happening in the series. The overall explanation of what was actually happening in Weep, what was actually causing everything, why they were there. I'm trying not to give spoilers if you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, was actually incredibly dark. So yeah, that is my answer to that question. Number 3 is fall is back to school season. Share a non-fiction book that taught you something new. For us, we actually go back to school in February, which is technically the last month of summer, but first term is absolutely throughout fall or autumn. So anyway, so share a non-fiction book that taught you something new. So for this one, I have selected Don't Touch My Hair by Emma Dabiri. There is so much about, the experience of being black in a racist world that I obviously don't understand because I have not had that experience. Black women's hair, or black people, specifically black women's hair, and the way that racism even extends to hair and the management of hair and the perception of people because of their hair was not something I had ever thought of or considered before. Again, for fairly obvious reasons, that is not a lived experience of mine, but it was just so eye-opening, and it really made me think about all the different ways that I am privileged and all the different ways that the world lets me just do whatever, and that because I have straight blonde hair, I don't have to, I can just get away with washing my hair and brushing it, and literally that's all I do with it, and how that's completely acceptable. Whereas there was such a stigmatism against black natural hair for so long, and still is, that just the sheer amount of work and effort that had to be put into it in order to make hair be even acceptable, let alone fashionable. And then the opposite side of that, of this natural hair movement, that how those things have been co-opted, and the co-option of black history and black culture and black identity by white people. There's just so much that I just had no idea about and never had to think about. And yeah, it was eye-opening and mind-blowing. And even the fact that it was eye-opening and mind-blowing tells you stuff about the racist nature of our society. So yeah. I'm not going to go into any more detail than that. I have talked about this in the wrap-up where I read the book, which I can't remember which one it was, but I'll link it in the description when I find it. Absolutely incredible, highly recommend, and definitely my answer to this question. Question number 4 says, in order to keep warm, it's good to spend some time with the people we love. Name a fictional family, household, friend group that you'd like to be a part of. When I was a kid, I grew up being read Lord of the Rings, so I always wanted to be a member of the Fellowship. I kind of wanted always to be an elf, but knew realistically I was probably more of a hobbit. Rowan is laughing at me for that, I think probably because he completely agrees with me that I am... Sorry?
You can't grow enough of a beard to be...
I can't grow enough of a beard to be a dwarf. Definitely not. And as much as I might wish myself to be graceful and ethereal and all of the things that elves are, I just am not. I'm just a hobbit. Let's be honest. Anyway. I do like well, I don't know if I like I like morning tea, so yeah, I guess I like second breakfast. Anyway, so yeah, I think I'm going to leave it at that. I think that's my answer. I'd like to be a hobbit. I'd like to be Merry and Pippin's best friend. Please and thank you. Question number 5, I have not prepared for at all. It says, the colourful leaves are piling up on the ground. Show us a pile of fall-coloured spines. Yeah, so I haven't prepared for that at all. But luckily, behind me, we have these 2 books, which are fall-coloured, and these 3 books, which are fall-coloured, and this book. So, yeah, that's my fall-coloured spine. Do I have another red? I do, but it's a bit hard to reach with this stack, so we're just going to say this is my fall-coloured spine. Question number 6 is, fall is the perfect time for some storytelling by the fireside. Share a book wherein somebody is telling a story. So for this one, I am going to talk about The Name of the Wind and The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss, and potentially the other book, if he ever writes it. Please do. The setup of this is that we follow the innkeeper Coat as he tells the story of himself as a younger man when he was known as Quoth. So he is telling his life story to a scribe, and yeah, that is the setup of the book, and that is why I've chosen these 2 books, / however many books, for this question. Number 7 is, the nights are getting darker. Share a dark, creepy read. Dark, creepy read. I mean, I don't read a huge amount of horror. I read some thrillers, but yeah, I don't read a huge amount of dark, creepy, horror-y type of things. I do read some gothic. So I am going to say either Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, because that does get quite dark and creepy. But I'm also going to say Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I actually found this one to be quite creepy, particularly when you get to the mushrooms. Let's just leave it at that. Question number 8. The days are getting colder. Name a short, heartwarming read that could warm up somebody's cold and rainy day. I mean, pretty much any middle grade fantasy I think is going to do that, but I'm specifically going to talk about the Nevermore series by Jessica Townsend. I just love this series, or what I've read of it so far, which is the 3 books that are out. So Nevermore, The Calling of Morrigan Crow, Wondersmith, I can't remember what the subtitle for that one is, and then Hollowpox. They are the 3 that are out currently, and they are just absolutely beautiful, beautifully written stories, really whimsical and just really like a big warm hug. So we follow Morrigan, who thinks of herself as a cursed child and thinks that she will die on her 11th birthday, but instead of dying, she is swept off by Jupiter North to this other realm called Nevermore, and she has entered into the trials to become one of the members of the Magical Society, which I have totally forgotten because I have read a few of these sorts of books, and they're all kind of, the names of things have kind of bled into each other. But anyway, it's so beautifully written. It's so much fun. Like I said, it's so whimsical. And yeah, that is the answer to the question. Number 9, it says fall returns every year. Name an old favourite that you'd like to return to soon. So for this one, I have selected Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman because I'm actually going to be reading that this month with the Last to Read book club. If you would like to join us, we have a Twitter, we have a Discord, all of that is linked down below if you want to join us to read any of the books that we have coming up. We have some great conversations, and yeah, it's just really, really fun. So the book for April is Neverwhere, which is one of my all-time favourite books. I first read this one in 2006 or something like that, when I was actually living in London, and just really, really enjoyed it. It is set in the UK, it is set in London, and it is about a sort of underworld of London, and there are lots of references to things in London in the UK that were just really meaningful at the time, but I still think it's a really fun book even if you don't have that element. And yeah, it's really well written. I love Neil Gaiman. I think his writing style is fantastic. I think he's also really whimsical, really fun, really clever, really imaginative, and I would definitely say all those things about Neverwhere, I should say. So yeah, that is my answer to that one. Question number 10 says fall is the perfect time for cozy reading nights. Share your favourite cozy reading accessories. So my top answer, of course, is my pajamas. I love to snuggle in to my pajamas at night. In fairness, having said that, at night I'm often snuggling in my pajamas on the couch with Rowan watching TV, but we do occasionally snuggle and read books together as well. And yeah, definitely pajamas. The other accessory, which isn't really an accessory because it's a living being, but cats. You can't go wrong with a cat snuggled up on your lap or anywhere really on your person, being a fuzzy, purring, warm blanket with your pajamas. Just perfect cozy night reading or whatever else you're doing. Accessories. The final question says, spread the autumn appreciation and tag some people. So I'm going to tag Australian booktubers on the basis that it is autumn for us, and obviously if I tagged anyone in the northern hemisphere, they would be like, why, it's spring, what are you talking about? So I am going to tag some of my usual suspects for this one. I'm going to tag Ellie from Earl Grey Books, Lana from Lore and Lullabies, Paige from Pages with Paige, Ash from Ash's Adventure in Books. Sorry, Ash, my brain was telling me Ash's Media Addiction, but I knew that was wrong. Anyway, Ash's Adventures in Books, Crystal from Bon Book Reviews, Erin from Shebas and Shelves, Meredith from Reading with Merb, and Liv from Endless Pages. So I'm going to tag all of those absolutely amazing, wonderful, fantastic Australian booktubers, and I'm going to tag Vish from Books with V as well. So all of those people, consider yourselves tagged if obviously you want to do this tag. If you don't, consider yourself not tagged. If you also want to do this tag now or when it's spring, when it's autumn for you, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, consider yourself tagged as well. So yeah, that is the Finally Fall book tag. I am very excited that I finally did the book tag because I kept wanting to do it but wanted to do it in my fall. So yeah. Very glad to have finally done it. Please comment below if you have any thoughts on any of the answers to my questions. What would you have said to those questions? Have you done the tag? Please let me know so I can go and check it out. Are you going to do the tag? Let me know that as well. And anything else you'd like to talk to me about, please do so in the comments below. If you would like to leave me a comment but you don't know what, then leave me some kind of fall leaf emoji. All of my social media details are listed in the description below, so if you'd like to go and follow me on any of those other platforms, please feel free to do so. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. And yeah, like I said, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.